Alright, quick update on Luna. So Luna doesn't care about the correction that's happening in Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin's having a slight pullback in the past couple of days, especially in the past 3 days. We've been moving down. If we look at what's going on in Luna, we're actually seeing a bounce while most of the markets is heading down. That is very interesting in my opinion. Let's talk about what's going on in the short term, and then we'll jump into the macro term. So starting off with the 4 hours, since my most recent video, we have managed to reset the bullish momentum. This is where we really want to see the bulls step back in, because as you know, the market moves in waves between bullish cycles and bearish cycles, but sometimes we reset the momentum. Like here, you can see we reset the bearish momentum, had a further move to the downside. I'm hoping we're doing that on Luna, and in the higher time frames, it definitely does look like we're getting ready for something like this, where we do have another leg to the upside. This is definitely helped by the price action that we've seen in the past day. We are up approximately 5.24% as of the time of recording this. We came back into the 4-hourly EMA ribbons, and we are having a nice bounce, and you know, we're seeing decent price volume. To be honest, we've been seeing okay price volume, you know, the whole time we've been in this downtrend for Luna. And I imagine that's because if we come over to the macro term, you can see that Luna is just exponentially increasing. I mean, this would probably do better on a logarithmic scale, because the growth is just exponential. It doesn't really work too well on this trend line, but nonetheless, I mean, we are just exponentially having these legs up. We have these corrections, and then we have these moves back up again. I mean, Luna really doesn't know what it's like to have a bear market. The worst we've been through in the past year or so is a 57% correction, which literally, you know, returned to where it was before in like 2 weeks time. So Luna, it's barely ever in the dumps. It is almost always pumping. These daily EMA ribbons are, you know, they're bullish 90% of the time, and then we have these quick switches to the downside and then remain back bullish. On the daily, you can see in our most recent dump, we started to pull these EMA ribbons down, but we are heading back up now. So on the daily, we've had a nice retest of the EMA ribbons. You can almost see something like a daily W pattern playing out as well. If we draw it, you can see the leg on this one is a little bit short compared to the other one. Nonetheless, this is 100% valid. This is a very valid W pattern. If we did take the breakout price target of this W pattern, you could see this W pattern would bring us all the way up to $115. Now, bear in mind, for the past week or two, we have had a price target on Luna all the way up here at $150. So it is very nice to know that we have a potential W breakout price target, bringing us all the way up to $115. Now, I potentially plan on selling, because Luna is a short-term trade for me, I potentially plan on selling approximately 50% of my Luna when we do come to this $120 level. And it is a little bit of hopium for me. But really, I'm hoping we do something like this, where we come back to the top of this resistance band. You can see we topped out here before, we topped out here before. I'm hoping the trend is your friend on this one, and we are going to top out around this resistance band before having a more macro move back down, having another higher low, anywhere to approximately $65 to $70. Now, that does not have to play out by the teeth. Do bear in mind, I did get in Luna when we were at some cheaper price targets down here at $77. I cover about 30 different cryptos on my channel. I'm a swing trader. Luna is not one of the long-term holds for me, although I am a fan of the project. If you're a long-term holder, then, you know, my analysis is probably just my analysis to you, and you may not want to sell at these regions. That is completely fine. I do have cryptos that I do plan on hodling, even if I do think they are going to move down in the short term. However, I am just planning on this being a short-term trade. I like this setup, and like I said, I'm only planning on taking 50% of my profits as we do come up to this region, because we could have a lot of higher price targets. For example, it would not be too much further to expect a move up to the 1.618 Fibonacci. That would be a 17% move from that 30% move, and then you could see a 66% increase up to the 2.618, which is actually a breakout from where we are now of a 110% profit trade. So some very nice potential trades we could have setting up on Luna right now. I'm very bullish on the macro market structure as this. As far as I'm concerned, You do well when you sell Luna when it tops out around these regions, and you do well to buy Luna once it comes back down and has these corrections, because these corrections don't last long from what I can tell. Most of the time we are slowly accumulating to the upside. The rest of the time we're having these big pumps, and then the rest of the time we're having these big dumps, and they're very, very short-lived. So if we look at the squeeze mom on the daily to wrap things up, like I highlighted a couple of videos ago, I highlighted this when we were down here at $77. I told you this is why I was buying Luna, because we are having a daily momentum shift in favor of the bulls. We're up 25% since that call. And I didn't highlight this before, but I will now. If you look at the squeeze bomb, you can see the market moves in waves between bullish and bearish waves. When you top out on the bullish side of things, you put in these dark green candles, indicative that bulls are losing control. When the bears come into control and you start seeing dark red candles, it means the bears are losing control. So when did the bears last lose control of their momentum? We were down here on the 4th of February. I'm not drawing this to the low, I'm drawing it to when we had a momentum shift. So we had a momentum shift from here, and we only started putting in consecutive dark green candles on the 11th of March. So if we draw this over to the 11th of March, you can see the last momentum swing we had, the squeeze mom called a 97% increase. Now bear in mind, if you want to cherry pick the data from the absolute low to the high, it was 140% increase, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to show you what moves we have after the squeeze mom calls for a bottom. And as I said, we called that the squeeze mom was going to be reversing down here at $77. We're only up 24% as of the time of recording this. I do think another 82% increase is conservative. That would factor in for diminished returns of the higher market cap, and that would put us up here at the 1.618 Fibonacci region. So saying this, I may actually consider not taking many profits at $120. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to include a stop loss in my trade. I might include it at this previous rejection point at $103, but I'm thinking the price move up to $140 is somewhat conservative. You know what I think I might do? I think I might take 25% of my profit when we come up to $120. If we manage to have a move up to the 1.618 Fibonacci at $140, I will take another 25% of my profit in Luna. And then if we come up to the 2.618 fib at $200, I will take my full profits on Luna. And what happens if we only come up to my first two price targets and then move back down to this region? Well, I'll simply dollar cost average using the 29, and let's see how much this will be. Oh, because we were from down here. So if we do make it up to here, I'll be buying back in with my 58 and 85% profits on the most recent trade. So there's a lot of things to take in for Luna. Nonetheless, if you are a hodler, I do think this is a great long-term hodl. I am just a short-term trader. I'm a swing trader. This is what I like to do in the market. I cover a plethora of different altcoins. So I'm not trying to hodl everything. I'm not trying to be in for every major move. However, I do see a nice short-term trade potentially setting up on this. I think Luna's at least going up to $120, which is, I'm sure, what you want to hear. We're putting up a nice W breakout. Daily time frame, we've pushed back above the EMA ribbons. On the 4 hour, we flipped them as bullish. Lower time frames, we could be resetting our bullish momentum, as we are seeing follow through on the bullish side of things. And on the daily, once again, we are seeing a macro momentum market shift. And the last time we saw this, we had a 98% increase. That's all I've got for you for Luna today. I think Luna is looking very, very nice in both the short, mid, and long term. That's all I've got for you. If you like the content, please like, follow, and subscribe. And yeah, that's all I've got. Once again, none of this is financial advice. It is just my opinion on the market. And you've always got to do what's best for you. Cowboy out. Peace.